going to, for the facilitators, we need to, as much as possible, take that layer down and put it off on the side. I'm going to tape it so we can capture it later. But we need to move on to the next set of questions. So you go back to work again. We need more input. The next question area to think about here, folks. Okay. So given the mission definition, the criticality, what is the purpose? What are the metrics? What are the goals for success? Some of that was already, I heard some words around here, but re-articulate how you measure success for an effective organization. How do you measure success for an effective organization? And the second question is the most important one that I need your input on. What are the key activities which encompass the scope of this type of organization? So, what activities? If you're building an organization, it's delivering a service. What are the key activities for which you organize around? What are those key activities that this effective organization must deliver to be successful? Steve, on table number 1. Fundamentally, what are the activities that you expect this organization to deliver against, and maybe metrics for success? So, what's the key theme you see here?
Okay, so we're going to do this backwards then. Talk activities first. There were a lot. You know, it was very difficult to group them in any kind of themes, and they were all very, very good contributions and ideas, I thought. So maybe some order to it. Of course, doing the planning for the organization is very important. To be thinking very far ahead, making sure you understand your goals, and then you're setting your strategy, and then putting the tactics in place to make that happen. And that, of course, would include like an identification of current gaps or perceived gaps, and the work on a closure plan. Then there were a couple of comments good ones about, of course, you know, the obvious, maintain and support the systems themselves. Some kind of knowledge management, you know, central repository of keeping best practices and solutions in place, and maybe even sharing them on a geographic basis too. Supporting the users, listening to the users. Optimizing applications and usage. I thought that was a very good one too. So how these systems interact with each other. And then standardization, which may be part of your strategy too. So what do you do in a circuit where you have multiple sites and you have to decide, am I going to let each site go off on their own, or do I keep everyone organized using the same consistent solution for most of the problems? And the last one I thought, well, I didn't see it up there, but I think troubleshooting, you know, 24/7 has to be and that has to be the heart of, you know, why we have these organizations separate.
Okay, we're getting a little short on time. So
I'm done. So here.
It's good. Let's go to this one. Jake, what? Quick question?
No, go ahead. Go to the next table. We'll catch up.
We'll cycle through. Jake, are you ready, or Peter? We want to build on what we heard here. So I see, by exception, there are some interesting. Cybersecurity's first one came up. We didn't mention that over there. Activities again.
I was actually writing feverishly to get this up here, so I didn't pay attention much over there. So I don't know what kind of overlap we have.
Go ahead.
So I'm just going to go through this as if I didn't hear it at all, which I didn't. Just some of the things we came out were cybersecurity, adopting standards across the enterprise, portfolio management, and technology selection, which I would say is sort of almost in the same group. Make sure that the systems are reliable. It's implied they're part of the safety system in the business, if they're SIS. Hardware maintenance and recovery, and also training came up a few times in some of the submissions. And if we move over to the purpose and goals section. Okay, so we have. I can read through Peter's stuff here. Value-centered results, generating value for the company out of that portion of the business. Life cycle management. Is that right? What was this? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So both of us. Yeah. So planning and strategy, life cycle management, and also providing customer service, superior customer service to the business.
Okay, some great ads there. Let's go to table number 3 here.
Yeah, we had a lot of categories because it was a lot of fun. Our first section was about value to the business. And some things we heard out of there, optimize our applications, staying customer focused on the business needs. Cost came up again, like in the last category, with things like drive down the cost of manufacturing, need unified cost savings. We had reliability come up. We had a couple submissions just on reliability, and then that was a thread that showed up in a few other stickies as well, along with both safety and security, so cybersecurity and physical safety as well. We also had lifecycle management and support, or kind of what I would term product management, and making sure that we have sustainable support with that. We had just one category, project delivery, but I think that deserves some consideration as well, and we didn't expand on that too much. Again, standards, globalization of standards usage, implementing best practices, and then one category on regulatory and making sure that our solutions meet regulatory requirements.
Great. As usual, we don't have enough time to do everything I'd love to do here, but you're getting a flavor for things. Do not draw the organizational chart before you understand what the needs are. What is the unique value proposition of the organization? What is their mission? What is critical of the mission? What are the key activities? And you need to organize those key activities around driving those particular attributes. We've got a hard stop at 3 o'clock. This type of session usually is a 4-hour session, not a 1.5-hour session. I had several questions here. Where are we going with this? Can we go to 3:30? Okay, that's good. Then we can do one more data input, and question number 3. But I want to assure you, I want to save time at the end to say, where is this all going? This is not just wasted dialogue here. There's a desired outcome to help you with your organizational design going forward. I'm not sure if I want you to do that particular one. I want you to do this one. We've already got some attributes of success out there. That was question number 3. Question number 4 is more important. Okay, you've identified activities that the organization needs to support to be effective from a customer standpoint. Given those activities, what are the capabilities when you're performing that activity? When you're performing an activity, what is the capability that's needed? Okay, we're going to get started here, starting with table 1 while the others are finishing up here. So what we were trying to get here in this particular group of questions is identify the capabilities that are critical to deliver on those activities such that we can be successful, and to give us an idea of priority of what's most important. We've got a number of capabilities. So Steve, what are some of these capabilities?
Okay, I'm getting much better at this, but I'm having trouble reading my writing. So we didn't really prioritize, but we just sort of made an assumption that the ones with the most stickers were the ones that were the most important. We saw repeated themes. So in the first 2 categories, the very first one, we saw quite a few on I could probably summarize as technical competencies and familiarity with standards. That was an important one. The next one these were groupings of softer skills. The words I pulled out were visionary, innovative, customer-driven, service-oriented, able to facilitate, communicate, provide consulting skills, and also have an ability to empathize with and understand your customer. The third grouping was really targeted at management, and there were just some comments in here about making sure that you have an organization that builds knowledge and wisdom, or understands the difference between the two, empowering your people to make decisions. And the fourth category was about, and I hadn't considered this myself, compatible and actionable tools. There are comments in here about compatible technology, remote support, provide data in a usable format, etc. But that was it. Those are our 4.
Excellent. Everybody's getting the hang of this now. Jake, I'm going to skip you. Looks like right now. We're going to go to Carrie and come back to you.
Okay, we categorized, but we didn't vote. So categories we came up with were having a customer service mentality, I said this was like employing gymnasts was this category, agile, adaptable, flexible, and also having continuous improvement. This one was just kind of all embodying different skills and technical competence. So that you can, ability to execute and deliver, you got operational excellence, skills and knowledge. Capability of project management, repeatable project management. This one I think we heard over here too was just a kind of overall structure, having senior management support so that this is an organization that's got high enough level support to go do what it needs to do. Knowledge management, how you manage the body of knowledge that you have. Being able to attract and retain talent, and so having a sustainable organization with the people that you've got. And then softer skills here as well, communication and collaboration. Getting as specific as for some companies, being bilingual is a requirement. To being able to manage diverse and strong opinions as you're pulling requirements and partners together.
Excellent, excellent. Building. Jake, now the cream on top of the cake.
I think I actually tried to organize. I have a decent handle on how these are prioritized based on response numbers. Since we didn't really have a chance to discuss this as a group, I'm going to have to go with that. So, by far, the biggest nugget I would say is the technical knowledge, hands-on expertise, whether it's in the automation or the IT space. This is by far the biggest capability that came out of this. I think the second one would be leadership, project management, training, those kinds of things, a little bit, along those lines. And I think, yeah, the last one was communication. So this one came up again as something that was, I would say, is a fairly prominent.
And I like the word collaboration. That's the first time I've seen that word show up. Because
Yeah,
collaboration can be internally as well as externally. So
There's also does boring stuff. That was
Yeah,
one of the items that was
elaborate
suggested.
on that one though. I thought that was good too. What is does boring stuff? Explain it. Give him the microphone. He needs.
I guess, keep the place running was what kind of rolls down to. And, I think I said, what did I say? Maintain security. I think it was things like documentation, doing backups, maintaining the systems, just all the stuff you need to do on a day-to-day basis. Don't forget that, the number one thing is to keep the place running.
So let me restate it from the reverse statement. Sweat the details. Remember the famous statement was, don't sweat the details. No, the effective organization is one who does sweat the details and make sure that the day-to-day things do get done. So, very good. Give yourselves a hand, man. This is good. Okay. Many questions on what are we going to do with this? It was a fun exercise, but you came here for a reason, probably to get some help or some understanding going forward. So let me tell you where this is going. You came here with some questions that you expect to be answered as part of the syllabus. Organizing, the first question was, can small to medium-sized companies organize to be competitive? Organizations will work to be scaled to the size of the customer being serviced, e.g. employees wearing multiple hats. Okay, so the point is we went through this exercise of what's important and what are those particular activities. Being able to scale based on small or medium size companies means an organizational design that allows and facilitates people to wear multiple hats. They may not be experts in all those areas, but they are able to facilitate and get help in those areas where they cannot. However, all of us know some of these skill sets are extremely hard to find and hard to retain. Complex and special skills are hard to retain internally. A comment here about leadership. Leadership, big or small, is a key attribute for success. That was brought up. And leaders are made, not born. That's another euphemism. Leaders have to sweat the details, understand the details of what the service organization is providing, and be able to lead by example and deliver against the critical success factors. Now, if you are having trouble with a small to large company, small to medium-sized company getting these specialty skills, it's vitally important. A word came up here, collaboration. Collaboration in your organizational design with OEMs or systems integration partners are a means to leverage in that which you do not have. And you have that possibility through many organizations out there to identify. Another way for small or medium companies to organize to be competitive is to band together as organizations, joining specifically industry societies or committees, which allows your singular voice as a small company to be aggregated with people with common thoughts, common purpose, and that aggregated mindset then can be used to drive solutions, new vendor solutions or capabilities in the service market. So you can be competitive, small to large. Understanding what you can leverage in is a key attribute to that organizational design, and being able to collaborate using that leveraged in capability. How can organizational design make a company agile? That was one of the questions. Well, what does agile mean? I mean, I was on a previous panel and I mentioned agility as being one of the top 3 attributes of what keeps managers up at night. Being agile is the ability to adapt to the economic situation and terrain. Sounds military. It is. We're in a mission to be competitive, make profits for our companies, and this service needs to keep us capable to adjust to the economic situation and terrain, which means that organizational designs need to be dynamic or flexible enough to change as the situation might change economically for your company. Business change can occur as a result of many different external and internal factors. Some examples of organic expansion, mergers, acquisitions, joint ventures, or divestitures can change the requirements and needs, activities that a service organization needs to adapt to, and you need to structure based on those customer needs, based on those attributes. Deployment models need to be scalable to the demand. Whether you're small, medium, or large, fundamentally, where the activity needs to take place needs to be scalable based on the demand. If your company doesn't have that internal capability to scale up and down, then you go to your OEMs or systems integrators to help facilitate and leverage their workforces in a collaborative way to adjust to that demand. Last but not least, I'll drop down here to mobility and cross-training of skilled roles. Flexibility to encourage career growth. One of the things that we find in surveying with the millennial generation is they want new and challenging experiences. Being an agile organization, I would contend, helps facilitate acquisition and retention of talent through giving mobile job opportunities and cross-training, and then providing a larger workforce to support and sustain the clients that you are trying to serve. Managing the risk of interdependent collaboration. There is a fear out there of dealing with OEMs and systems integrators for leveraging expansion or contraction of an organization. Outsourcing of manufacturing IT can be risky if fundamentally you totally outsource the technical competency upon which your company is built. So you need to retain some internal competencies, even if you're highly leveraged with OEMs and systems integrators. You need to understand, though, what is most important. What is the most unique capability that makes your company profitable? Acquire and retain those skills for those roles, and then outsource as necessary to deliver the total solution to your client. Partnerships, then. It requires partnerships with third parties. They must be open and engaged. They must be bidirectional. Unidirectional from either direction can be a disaster to partnerships and result in poor performance in the field to your clients. Most importantly, issues resolution. Everybody has problems. Everybody has different expectations. You need to be able to have mechanisms up front before you write contracts and establish relationships. The rules of engagement need to be defined so that it's not if issues will come up, they will come up. When they come up, you have mechanisms to dialogue, continue bidirectional collaboration, and retain that efficient, effective organization that delivers to the client. Not only is there partnerships required for external relationships, internal functional relationships need to have a collaborative mechanism, whether it's the operations organization, the maintenance organization, the engineering organization that delivers this. There must be cross-functional collaboration, the infamous corporate IT versus the shop floor IT. You have to have some level and mechanism of collaboration to have an effective delivery of technology and services to the client. Collaboration requires communications. That came up a couple of different times. The attributes, communications, established both formal and informal communications mechanisms to be effective, and organizational effectiveness. Both parties, whether it's cross-functional within the company, whether it's external to internal collaboration, they must have a common mindset, a clear understanding of what winning the game is collectively. If you have a lose-lose scenario between collaborators, you will not win the game, and your clients will be totally dissatisfied. So establish those lines of communications and understanding what it takes for both parties to win the game. Whether you're big or small company, you need to have that capability. One of the questions was, what do we learn from other industries out the class? Most of the people who attend ARC are from the process industries primarily, okay? Not to exclude other business domains, but when you're comparing or looking to leverage best practices from other equal or companion industry, you have to be able to compare apples to apples. One of the reasons why you attended this session is we've got input from various company stakeholders here. The key is how do you put those apples and apples together? You need third parties, facilitator, consultation to fundamentally make sure that you're comparing the same attributes and capabilities. It means separating performance criteria, mission critical solutions versus business trends. You have to understand the criticality of what you're delivering and the expectations and service levels that are required. And that organizational design needs to address those critical capabilities. Bottom line. You must understand what IT functionality, and somebody mentioned this on one of the tables about, I think the gentleman down here. Just because we know what technology is and we're very competent in this area doesn't mean the company can make money with that technology. Technology doesn't make money. Technology is an enabler. So the organizational design must be able, words here, interpret the capabilities of technology and be able to communicate to our business partners and be able to translate and deliver value through that agreed upon understanding of value creation. That means here, understand your IT function, what is strategically imperative. Reason why we were kind of voting indirectly here is you need to formalize what is critical is what is not. What is required, but what is critical for financial success for your company, and then do those projects, design that organization such that it delivers the value through the IT enablement technologies, whether it's level 1, 2, 3, or even up into level 4. So those were the basic questions around the syllabus for this session. Where's this going? The inputs that you're providing today allows you to create what's called in organizational design a maturity model. Now, maturity doesn't mean you're immature and incapable. Fundamentally, we talked about capabilities and deliverable activities. So you can look at activities in an finitized way, activities, and then the capabilities. And as you go to the right of the maturity matrix, you're adding more capabilities. So depending on your particular company, there is no one-size-fits-all to the maturity model. It depends on the capabilities that you need to be successful for your business, and you find your way through this particular grid. Now, given where you are in a maturity grid, then you can start drawing the boxes, the organizational design boxes, to meet those capabilities. So to give you an idea, okay, now you can go do these kind of things. So capabilities, I heard some people talk about new technology, interpreting technology and being able to deliver that to your client. So organizationally, you need to have a functional part of your organization that fundamentally understands, researches, and proposes new technologies. Sweat the details down here. You need an organization that fundamentally support existing systems and services, and it needs to be along delivering that activity and a set of roles that go with that activity. We talked about the life cycle of a product. We talked about creating the new solutions, implementing the new solutions, supporting the new solutions, and somewhere over here we talk about improving or tuning those solutions. So you need to think about organizational design around those activities and capabilities. You can then divide up those macro activities into subgroups such that you are efficient both functionally and geographically. Oh, functional geography. I just created a matrix organization. Remember, two or more of those. So you see how this can work for you. And so the summary of my presentation here today is don't draw this first. This is the death sentence for an effective, efficient organization. The first thing you go through is create your own maturity matrix, which is capabilities and deliverable functionality. Go through that, determine what is critical for your company to be successful, decide what resources you need to deliver on those internally, decide what you need to leverage in, and then you can come up with a hybrid functional geographical organization which has a associated deployment model to insert the right resources within that particular organizational design. So I'm not telling you I'm advocating a matrix organizational design. What I'm telling you is a matrix organizational design is complex to create, but it incorporates more capabilities, higher level of capabilities and deliverables for your particular clients. So where is this going today? All your input is going to be collected and affinitized, cleaned up. I will do all that, okay? And I will come up with I'll back up, a generic version of this maturity model that has all your inputs in it. You will get this as a deliverable from ARC. And fundamentally, it will say, as a collective group of people, this is how we see the maturity and effectiveness of an organization that supports manufacturing IT levels 1, 2, and 3 of the Purdue model. And that'll allow you to start the dialogue, either internally or externally, to see where I am and where I need to be based on the business requirements for success. There is no one answer, but we're going to have a collective generic model here, and you can use that as a starting point. So I thank you all for attending today.